Government propaganda and the media spin doctors the flick. And check out Doin' Time for news, views and tunes on prison issues from Guantanamo Bay to Christmas Island to prisons and detention centres everywhere. Every Monday at 4 p.m. on your community radio 3CR.
We are still fired up and we're still talking about revolution.
Hello and welcome to the Doin' Time show. This is 3CR Community Radio, 855 AM on the dial, streaming live on www.3cr.org.au. Marisa and, what am I saying? Peter and I are here. This is Marisa and we'll be taking you through until 5 o'clock this evening. I will be playing an announcement shortly, but first of all, I just wanted to introduce the show. And we're going to be speaking first with Anthony Kelly. And Anthony Kelly is going to be talking about the Police Accountability Project and also about a terrible incident that happened over the weekend where some people that lived next to a gay bookshop were mistakenly identified and arrested. And
can I correct that, Marissa?
Yes.
The police raided the bookshop itself.
Yeah, so they raided the bookshop itself, but they also were arrested.
Yeah.
Well, one guy was arrested and there were problems with a guy hurting his arm. But we're going to be speaking about that and also about police investigating police. And then after that, we'll be speaking with Ali, who is an asylum seeker and refugee, and we'll be speaking with him as well about some of the problems that he's experiencing at Mita. He's actually an inmate there. And we'll be playing lots of great music, desert metal included, and we'll also I'll also be talking about the sacred trees and what's happening in Victoria with the cultural genocide where the government wants to put a highway in and get rid of these sacred Aboriginal trees. It's approximately 4:01 and I'm just going to put on a very quick announcement. Or have we lined up Anthony, Peter?
Yeah, he's lined up. All we have to do is press a button.
Oh, excellent. We don't have to play a card then?
No.
Hello, Anthony. Welcome to the program.
Hello, Marisa. Thank you.
It's lovely to have you. And just to a postscript to my introduction, Anthony is from Flemington, Kensington Community Legal Centre, and he's the Chief Executive Officer. Last time I checked, correct?
That's right.
Anthony, it's great to have you. I'm wondering if you could just speak about what happened over the weekend, because even though there's been a bit of coverage in ABC News and The Age, the information is slightly fragmented. Could you just talk about what happened in the context of the misconduct of the police?
Sure. So at approximately 2 a.m. on Saturday morning just gone, police, when in pursuit of a suspect, raided the home of two very prominent queer community members, Roland Thompson and Crusader Hillis, who live above the Hares and Hyenas lesbian bookshop and community space that they also run. And it was quite a terrifying experience by all accounts from then. They posted about it on social media on the day afterwards, absolutely terrified, thinking that it was a hate-motivated gang attack. The police failed utterly to identify themselves when they rampaged through the house with torches and guns drawn. They were asleep at the time. They had no idea what was going on in the immediate vicinity. And one of the friends who was there at the time, Nick Benepolis, ran outside in fear, thinking that it was also, that there was a hate-motivated attack on this house. And he ran outside and was immediately thrown to the pavement and roughly handcuffed or restrained to the point where his arm was severely broken in multiple places. He's still in hospital. He's recovering from complex surgery. There may be more surgery, and he's still in at an early stage of recovery from that incident. All people involved, as you can imagine, are quite severely shocked. And I spoke to them on Sunday, and incredibly brave and resilient people there, of course, but still, amazed that it occurred, and the ferocity of the what was similar to a home invasion.
That is actually really disappointing. It's absolutely appalling. So, using that example, Anthony, so basically the man's hospitalised, he's having surgery, and this is as a result of the police injuring him, allegedly. So
That's right, yeah.
So let's talk about the implications of all this. So
Sure,
the police are under investigation over this operation, right?
That's right, yeah. So very quickly the police realised that they'd stuffed up.
Yeah.
Whether that was that night or the morning after, the assistant commissioner pretty quickly, ordered the Professional Standards Command to conduct an investigation. And of course, that's not at all adequate because that's another police unit investigating another police unit. But it shows that already the police were on the back foot and very cognizant of, the blowback from this sort of stuff up. Now, it should be stated, and the Crusader and Roland, the residents at Hares and Hyenas, are really adamant in that it wasn't a targeted attack on them. The police probably were unlikely to even know that it was a bookshop or what the residence was when they stormed in through the back garage area.
All right.
And they report that there wasn't any homophobic commentary or anything during the raid. That wasn't the issue, and they are clear that it's an issue of police brutality and procedures, and also accountability from their point of view.
So,
but however,
go on.
Sorry. Just we know, the queer community's been impacted by decades of
absolutely
homophobic criminalisation from Victoria Police, and there's a long history there, and so everyone's sort of aware of that context in which this raid took place. And
indeed, gay people have been criminalised just for being gay. I think there was a law removed recently, wasn't there, that they're no longer being having to go to prison for being gay.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So older offences were expunged from the record books just very recently, and there was also Victoria Police very recently apologised for its actions during the Tasty nightclub raid over 20 years ago now. Now, that took 20 years for that apology, and it's notable that the Victoria Police made a profound apology for this action only today. So Assistant Commissioner Luke Cornelius did a live press conference this morning where he sincerely and utterly apologised to the people who experienced this raid. So that's quite notable in itself, and just shows the how police are cognizant of the political issues around this.
So basically, residents, according to The Age, residents say that heavily armed officers stormed the apartment. So the bookshop actually wasn't raided. It was the apartment that was attached to the bookshop and on Johnson Street. And they were searching for what residents were told was an armed member of a Lebanese gang.
It's not really clear.
It's not. It's very fragmented.
It's very fragmented. It's not really clear who they were searching for and the ethnicity of that person and so forth. Whether that was something the police mentioned or witnesses or other people mentioned is still unclear at this stage. But it was the police have already admitted that they raided the wrong house. It was an incorrect assumption, but also they mistakenly identified Nick, who came out of the bookshop on the front street and mistakenly arrested him. So. And using that extreme levels of bone-breaking force to do so.
Indeed.
So police have admitted already that was all a mistake, and that's something that is also very notable. It's also not the first time that these sort of things have happened. As I said before, that other families, other communities have experienced this sort of policing now over a number of years. Only in 2017 there was a critical incident response pursuit. And when they were close to arresting the suspect, they mistakenly threw a international student who was just in the vicinity, threw him to the ground and arrested him to the point where he was hospitalised with a fractured jaw. So these sort of incidents have occurred before. We've had capsicum spray used on unsuspecting residents in homes that have been raided, including young children and babies. being impacted by the spray, all sorts of things that can occur, and often without the sort of attention and notoriety and institutional response that this incident has had.
Anthony, it's great that you've been able to give these examples, and listeners may recall that we've done some extensive interviewing with the centre, with Tamar Hopkins, with Anthony Kelly, also with the peer advocacy worker, with African youth, and basically, I wanted to ask you a question about the Police Accountability Project later on in the interview, but first, before we get into that, I'm just wondering if you could talk about the renewed calls for the state's independent, broad-based anti-corruption commission, IBAC. Mm-hmm. Could you just talk about that? Because it doesn't sound really feasible for IBAC to investigate this complaint of police misconduct, given that it is actually part of the police force. Isn't that about police investigating police?
So IBAC are an independent statutory body. Oh. They're independent from police. Right. They have a direct line of reporting to Parliament. So they are independent. Police, they already have a very clear oversight role on Victoria Police. Police are obligated to report to them about these sort of serious incidents.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I felt that they seemed still a little bit biased.
Right. Well, they also have their own powers and capabilities. They can conduct their own motion investigations and prosecutions into Victoria Police, and they've been doing more and more over recent years.
That's good.
Prosecuting police members even after the complaint against them has found to be unsubstantiated. So there's been a number of recent cases where they've brought police to trial and laid charges on their own initiative. So we're seeing improvements is the way that they're operating as an oversight body. However, they still don't have the capacity to conduct quick, prompt and thorough investigations of these sort of incidents. They still sit back and rely on police to do the initial investigation, and that's not appropriate in these sort of circumstances.
Exactly. That's precisely what I was trying to say.
Yeah, so they don't have the funding or capacity yet to do the investigations to the thoroughness that we require. Now, last year, people may remember there was a big inquiry into the police complaint system in Victoria. That resulted in a 69 recommendations being made to the Victorian Parliament. And the big recommendation was the establishment of a police misconduct and corruption division within IBAC. So like a specialist-focused division within IBAC that would focus on investigating police complaints of serious misconduct. So that Parliament, that's been sitting there since September last year. And in that time, of course, there's been an election and the Labor government is re-elected, and they haven't moved on those recommendations yet. There's also been the Royal Commission into how Victoria Police handle informants, so the Lawyer X Commission, and that has delayed things to a certain extent. But the onus still is on the Victorian government to enact those recommendations. And there was a joint parliamentary committee. There's broad support for those recommendations. We broadly support them. And it was a very comprehensive inquiry last year that many people made submissions to or supported submissions to, including many people who have been through the complaint system, who have been victims of police violence in the past. And those recommendations are really our best hope at the moment to see the sort of police accountability in Victoria that we need.
Thank you so much, Anthony, because I think that it can get very confusing with all these different bodies, because even though IBAC is connected to Parliament, that, like you said, there doesn't seem to be a lot of leeway. And in fact, I have tried on behalf of the Do and Time show to interview people from IBAC, and they have said that they can't because it's a conflict of interest. So how can they be independent? They're
very careful around media work in general. But there's a lot of lessons from overseas. So
Yes.
overseas independent bodies in the UK and others do very thorough systemic reviews of police.
Big difference.
Police issues. They publish very transparent reports. They
Yes.
publish reports after each investigation, which go into quite a bit of detail. And their role is to really build confidence in the investigative process and the accountability system. And also its effectiveness. They don't always find in the complainant's favour, of course, but it's something there where the independence nature of these bodies is really critical. One factor, of course, is who's staffing them. So whether it's former police making up the bulk of the team is an issue. We recommend that it should be 20% or less should be former police officers, and that it shouldn't involve former Victoria police officers, for instance.
Absolutely.
That's generally seen as a standard around the world, that it not be dominated by former police officers. There's a whole range of other skilled civilian investigators that these sort of bodies can draw from. And, human rights investigators and, aircraft crash investigators and other forensic investigative roles.
Interestingly, the Age has quite a comprehensive article, actually. And there's an interesting quote from Daniel Andrews in that article. Daniel Andrews, our Premier, whether it be professional standards or others, we will look very closely at what has happened and how it could be that what has occurred has come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
And
we certainly noted that as well. There's a slight change in the language. The writing's certainly on the wall in terms of independent investigations. The Parliament is much more cognizant of how these issues play out. And so whether there's a lot of pressure, I think, at the moment on IBAC to come in and take over this investigation. They're certainly conferring, the Professional Standards Commander conferring with IBAC at the moment, we know. And, so whether or not they have the capacity, though, is the issue. And that capacity issue is certainly in the hands of the government at the moment. They need to take this issue by the middle and enact those 69 recommendations.
Absolutely. And if people wanted to look at those recommendations and read that report, Anthony, where can they go on the website?
So it's on the Victorian Parliamentary website. You can search for inquiry into the external oversight of police corruption and misconduct. So it's still available on the website. It's an incredibly large, comprehensive report. And its role is that it provides enough evidence, impetus for Parliament to act. So, it's certainly worth having a look at.
For sure. And just quickly to, developing your point earlier on about the Parliamentary Committee, about the report last year. And I'm just having a look here, and I think that the Parliamentary Committee found the system for investigating police misconduct very complex and confusing, and based on an intrinsic overlapping and sometimes fraying patchwork of laws, policies and processes.
Yeah, that's right. So if people complain to IBAC at the moment about something that happened to them from Victoria Police, then IBAC will, in the vast majority of cases, handball it back to Victoria Police to investigate.
That's the problem.
So they don't have to. They have the ability and the powers to decide to investigate themselves, but they don't have the capacity to do that. So
Absolutely.
Parliament needs to provide IVAC with the capacity and the impetus to set up its dedicated division so that they can investigate the vast majority of serious misconduct allegations that they receive.
And what's happening with the Police Accountability Project at the moment? Can you just give a brief update about some of the work that's happening there?
Sure. So the call for independent investigations is obviously such a core part of our advocacy goals. We're also establishing a police accountability project that focuses on the policing of family violence. So we have a working group and a network established that is working on issues where police fail in their duty to protect victims of family violence, where they might not respond to intervention orders, where they might further criminalise the person experiencing violence, or not abide by their own Family Violence Act protocols. And that's a really important project that we're undertaking. And, of course, there's ongoing work in our efforts to stem and reduce and prevent discriminatory and racialised policing. The peer advocacy team is currently seeking new members, and we've got a whole series of events and workshops coming up planned over the next 12 months.
Well, that's great. We'll have to have someone back on to talk about that and advertise the events. Anthony, thank you so much for coming onto the program. Do you have any final comments before we finish?
No. Just the Hares Are Not Here. The bookshop is obviously the latest, community or an organisation that's experienced this sort of policing. So please support them where you can, and stay tuned for events and other advocacy work. And head to the Police Accountability website, policeaccountability.org.au, and we've got an action already prominent on the website where you can send a letter to Premier Andrews and the Police Minister and others and boost our call for independent investigations.
Thank you so much. Take care. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Marisa. You too.
Take care. Bye-bye. And that was Anthony Kelly from Flemington Kensington Community Legal Centre, Chief Executive Officer, talking about police investigating police and giving an update on the Police Accountability Project. And do head to that website because, as he said, there are lots of events coming up in the next 12 months. It's approximately 4:21, and I believe that that we're going to be having some music pretty soon.
Yeah.
.3CR, radio that's independent, progressive and making a difference.
My name is Ian Ham and I'm the chair of the Healing Foundation's Stolen Generations Reference Group. At 3 weeks of age, I was separated from my birth family, and even though they lived just 50 kilometres away, I never knew they existed. I never met my mum, and it pains me to this day. There are thousands of Aboriginal people just like me, and our stories have never been heard. These stories form the basis of Australia's first Stolen Generations resource kit for schools. To download the kit, go to healingfoundation.org.au.
A 3CR supporter.
In December 2017, Tanya Day, proud Yorta Yorta woman and much-loved member of the Aboriginal community, was travelling by train to Melbourne. When V-Line staff found her asleep, they called Castlemaine Police and she was removed from the train and charged with public drunkenness. Tanya died 17 days later as a result of head injuries sustained while in custody. This would never have happened had the recommendations of the 2001 Royal Commission into Aboriginal deaths in custody been implemented. Tanya Day's family is calling for the crime of public drunkenness to be abolished and for the implementation of genuine community health alternatives to incarceration. Please add your support by signing the petition at 3CR Reception, 21 Smith Street, Fitzroy, or online by entering Tanya Day petition into your browser.
Are you 18 years and over? Have you been stopped by a Victorian police officer or protective service officer in the last 10 years? Would you like to contribute to research that aims to inform law reform and litigation strategies to prevent over-policing? Go to policestopsurvey.online for more information and to take part. That's policestopsurvey.online, a 3CR supporter.
And you're back with the Doing Time show. And next up, we've got Ali on the line from Mita, and he's actually an inmate there at the moment. He's a refugee. We've had him on a couple of times. And Peter and I just wanted to have him back onto the Doing Time show to talk about some issues that he's been experiencing. He does have a court case coming up, but we are unable to talk too much about that because we don't want contempt of court. But we will speak generally about what's happening with Ali. Hello, Ali.
Hi, hello.
Hi,
Marisa. How are you? This is Ali from Mita Detention Centre in Melbourne.
It's lovely to have you, Ali. Now, Ali,
how have you been?
Yeah, good. Really good.
Good to hear your voice again.
Oh, look, it's been lovely to chat with you. We've really enjoyed your company coming onto the show.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's hope that, remember last time we spoke, it was quite spooky, wasn't it? We kept getting cut off and... Remember? Yes. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But, Ali, I'm wondering, Chris Breen from the Refugee Action Collective has sent out a couple of media releases in regards to your situation. But I believe that you've been placed in isolation multiple times, haven't you? Could you talk about a bit about what's been going on?
So what's been happening? I did go to the doctor. I saw the doctor. I said I want to quit the smoke as I can't afford to smoke in this place. So I put myself on nicotine pouches. You know the stickers, the nicotine pouch. Mm. So I put myself on them. So I started going every day to the Medicare Center to get this nicotine pouch sticker from all the way down to the Medicare Center and come back to their compound. And so I've been doing that for the last 6-7 weeks. I've been doing that every day. I go 12:35, 12:40 afternoon to the Medicare Center. I pick up the nicotine pouch and I come back. As I'm coming back from the Medicare Center with an officer, ART officer came from behind me and he said, you can't go back to the compound yet. You have to wait everyone to finish their medications and you come back. I said, what do you mean? So where I will wait in the middle of the cold outside, and it was rainy day. He said, you can lock yourself in the holding room. So it's a little room, like just 2 meter by 2 meter holding room. He want to lock me up there. I said, but I'm already at the door of the compound. Just open the door and let me in. Like I'm already at the door of my compound, which is my room, only 50 meter, 30 meter away from me. Just let me in, and that's it. He said, he started yelling at me and said to me, his section leader, ART, he started yelling at me and said, you don't run the show in here. I run this joint. You don't run anything in here. That's to be clear. And let's go and start pushing me to the holding room. I said, and where is this attitude coming from? All I said that, and then boom, I'm on the floor, knocked out on the floor, and then he pulled my fingers opposite way, make my nails touching my hand, like he broke my fingers. So now I have to go. I done the X-ray, and the doctor called me up. He said the little finger and the next one to it is broken and out of place. And because it's been 3 weeks like that, we have to send you to plastic surgery to actually like hand people. They make your hand numb, and then re-break it and re-put it back again and then plaster it. So I'm waiting now the booking to go actually to the hospital in Melbourne. I think Epping in Northern Hospital, I'll be going hopefully soon. I'm not sure what the procedure with them. I've been waiting. This is my 3rd week. I'm just carrying my broken fingers and walking around, and I can't use even my right hand because of that. And I'm still just waiting. And then they didn't do nothing to him. The next day he's here. The next following day he's here. And he keep giving us hard time, keep bullying us. And I've been putting against him a lot of complaints. We went on hunger strike one day just to protest against him, and they didn't do nothing about it, both of us. And we signed petition all detention center against him. We said he's a really violent person. They didn't do nothing about it. It's only one shift. So here they have 4 shifts. So every 3 days it change shift. The morning shift it change and the night shift it change, and it's like that. So 3 days morning shift, 3 days, and the three nights another shift. So they have 4 shifts staff, which is 4 managers, 4 operation manager, 4 head security, like that. They have 4 staff shift to actually operate the place morning and night times. So 4 shifts. One of the shifts, that's the one always making the incidents. It's only one shift. in the whole detention center, making it harder. So one shift acting really recklessly, they behave not good, and most of them actually they just bad attitude, push you, assault you, and when the manager comes, they don't say the truth. What happened? They'll accuse you. They'll say stuff it never happened before. Like I mean, just like flash it. It's like one of the incidents in the food mess. And then the manager came, he started talking to them. The way he was talking to ERT, it never happened like that. It never happened like that. It's all came up from his head, the story, and telling the manager about me, make me look, I'm the guilty 101%. And he's an innocent person like Angel.
But see, Ali, the thing is, from what you've been saying, you've given us a very, very thorough account of what's happened. There is a concern, there's several concerns here. There's a concern about duty of care, so looking at your health and looking at attending to your injury, which hasn't really been attended to. That's one issue.
Not yet.
Yeah, so there's a duty of care, and there's also...
not in Mita Detention Centre.
That's right, a duty of care of Mita Detention Centre, and also the fact that the guard has not been held accountable for this situation. It's really quite appalling.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. It's just the condition here in the human, the life livable in the human, and it's very sad. Like, it make me like I feel like I want to like just scream and cry in the same moment for what is happening here at the front of me, and I can't do nothing about it. I feel like powerless of what happening to the detainees, of bullying and assaults and all this kind of stuff, and I just feel so sad inside me when I see a human being, what he's doing to another human being. It never came up in my actually side of even flash 1 second moment. Never ever I will come up like to Melbourne actually detention center, and I see that. I've been in many detention centers before. I don't say they're perfect, but less violent, less stuff happening than here. This is really, really worse. It's the worst detention center I have ever been in. Is Mita Detention Center. And I win my case. I did go to federal court, and I win my case. And the judge said we can't deport him to danger, which is Iraq's ongoing war against ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Taliban and all this kind of stuff happening in there. And I already show physically on my body injured from back in the days when I was in Iraq, like shot in the leg, shot twice in the chest. So they already know that, and they can't deport me. So the judge written up a letter, said he win the case as bent on section blah 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 number on he can't get deported to danger. So I can't go back there. So if I can't go back to my country, and I can't get out getting a visa, what does that mean? You're killing taxpayers' money on me here, or just giving me hard time? What do you want me to do? Just committed suicide in here?
So what do you
want me to do?
You're being kept there indefinitely in detention.
Yeah, now it's technically I'm in definite detention center because they don't want to release me and they don't want to send me back to my country. So I'm in what they call it,
in limbo.
Limbo, yeah. Like, thank you. Just in the middle of two politicians or two politics, and I'm in the middle of it. Politics of the side of my country, of war ongoing, non-stop of it, and politics of the minister and the immigrations, and border force and circle. So I'm stuck in between a human being. They actually hiding, like the picture of them, you see it as they are a human being, but they have absolutely no mercy in their hearts. Because if they have mercy in their hearts, they will look into my family, they looking on my mother. Like, I call my sister, she's always crying. I call my sister, she say, oh, my mom crying about you. Always I lose her in the house. We look around in the house. I find her in your bedroom, pulling all your stuff from the cupboard, all your clothes on the floor, and sitting crying and smelling them. It's like,
where is your mother?
In Perth.
She's in Perth?
Yeah, so all my family in Perth, and I'm in Melbourne, and even my court case in Perth. What I'm doing in Melbourne, you bring me here just to actually cause me court cases and that. I can't mention all that kind of stuff now, but I will be soon as end of it and finishing it off. It will be actually... I'll put it up, definitely, the whole full story of it. We can't mention now.
No.
Because
it's
still pending and that. But
yes, of course.
It's really bad. Like, you bring me here for a reason, just to put me actually, to shut me down of what I'm trying to show the public of Australian. I didn't come by boat. I came by plane. Like, I'm asylum seeker, refugee, came by United Nations. So I didn't come by boat, and I forced myself into the country or anything like that. So all I'm asking is them to look about other people who suffering from their mistake, not only from my point.
Exactly.
And then every time I talk to them, whatever you want us to do for you or talk to you or anything, we can't say anything to you until you shut down your 501 Circle on ERT page. I said, why? What's that to do with you? I said, listen, you actually, to the manager, last time I was talking to top manager of this place on Border Force, 3 days ago I was talking to them. I said, listen, you should actually be happy I'm exploding corruption in this place, and you should stop it, and you should help me to stop this kind of stuff, not actually going against it and stopping it. He said, yeah, but you're showing it to public. I said, so what does that mean? So if I show it to public and showing the real reality what we are suffering in detention center, that wrong and make me wrong, but your staff is actually the angel? It's just not fair.
Look,
absolutely, it's not fair.
Ali, it really is a dreadful situation, and I think that once all your court cases are finished, I'd like to have you back on the show, and you can tell. You can't tell us your story now because there's so much happening, but maybe I'm hoping that one day you do get your visa back and that you can actually come into the radio station.
Yeah,
you never know what can happen.
Of course, if I actually, I would love, even if they do actually interview with me on the TV, actually by video, they want me to make a video, I would love that even, so people actually see the reality inside how we're living, how we're living life. Like my mother, I called her, I said, Melbourne is very cold. She sent me a blanket. She buy it from Kmart, a $35 blanket.
Yep.
It came up here. The manager refused it entry to me.
Why?
And he said, because it's a fire hazard. I said, so the doona you're giving me is 100% cotton, but it's a little one. It's not fire hazard, or the clothes in the room is not fire hazard, or the carpet is not fire hazard, or the mattress or the pillows. Just a blanket my mom sent me is a fire hazard. It's cold, mate. I want a blanket to keep myself warm. He refused it. Now my blanket, brand new, sitting in the property, doesn't want to give it to me. They don't want to give me the blanket.
So do you have a lawyer that can work on these things, Ali?
Well,
without giving any names, of course, on air.
I don't have any lawyer. I know I don't mention names and that, but I don't have. I have lawyer about the court case is ongoing now in here in magistrate court, and I have a lawyer about immigration, about my immigration matter. But the immigration matter, my lawyer said, there's nothing we can do. There is no court date. There is no court mention or hearing for you or anything. We just win it from federal court, and we don't know. We just floating. My file is with the minister, or with immigration, or with Border Force, or with Circle. I don't know nothing. All I know is my file is ready just to sign and then release me, but they don't want that, and I'm just stuck in here. So it's just really horrible situation what they're doing and what we are suffering from. And then
yeah.
they say it's duty of care and all that kind of stuff. It's not true. All they care about killing taxpayers' money.
Absolutely. And in fact, Ali,
go on,
what were you going to say? That's right.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was talking to the Greens political party. As you know, it's the only people who wanted to actually release the refugees from detention centers because it's costing too much the government money. So I was talking to them. They sent me a T-shirt of them to the detention. Today in the morning, I went to pick it up. They refused it entry. They said you're not allowed to have that T-shirt because it's a political party. It's like a bikie member is not allowed to have a T-shirt written a bikie blah 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 name of the club or something. It's similar to that. The officer stated to me, so I'm not allowed to have even that shirt. It's just a T-shirt said they're green. That's it.
They're green.
Yeah, just they're green.
The Greens.
I'm not allowed to have it. Yeah.
What? So the Greens are a gang? Is that what they're saying?
He said a political party. A political party not allowed to have their shirt. I said, this is ridiculous. So you're controlling me eating. You're controlling me sleeping. You're controlling my movement. You're controlling even what I wear. Next minute, I said, does that mean probably next year, I have to put a request permission to the manager to have actually a shower in my own room?
Ali, are you out of isolation now?
Yeah, they took me out finally after isolation, after I start sending letters and emails to ombudsman and this and that and all that kind of stuff. They took me out of isolation. Isolation here is actually, it's wrong because isolation never be a solution to calm you down. Isolation is a room, just a bed with a toilet next to you in the room, and the light stay on all night, all morning. Light it never goes off in the room, so it drives you crazy. You don't have TV to watch. You don't have friends to talk. You don't go out for a smoke. You don't go out of the door because the door is locked on you, and they lock you up there. Last time they locked me up there was 6 days. Straight 6 days, and I wasn't doing nothing. Only sitting down in my bed, and I'm just waiting for them, like, what's going on, what's happening? And they took my phone away from me on that time.
Why?
They make excuse. They said, because if we leave the phone with you inside the room, maybe you're going to break it and get the glass out of the screen and maybe cut your neck or cut your wrist or something. God. So you're not allowed. The rules in isolation, you're not allowed to have the phone for your own safety and duty of care. I said, come on, man, you're using that excuse, but you actually don't want me to have the phone for different excuses. You're using that kind of excuse.
I think, Ali, what needs to happen, and we won't talk too much about that right now, but we need to have a chat off air, and perhaps we need to come in and visit you, and we need to compile a list of all these things that have happened and work out a way that we can advocate on your behalf to, or someone has to advocate on your behalf to get your blanket and also to get other things. We need to have a look at what's going on here. It's approximately...
They don't listen. They will never listen.
Oh,
I doubt it.
Well, you never know. They never say never. It's approximately 4:45, and this is the Doin' Time Show. The Doin' Time Show is a show that has people on like Ali that are deprived of a voice in lots of other media outlets, and we've got him here talking about Mita. And in fact, Ali, Peter and I visited Mita. I used to visit Mita quite a lot. And back at that time, we were allowed to bring in food. I used to bring in lentil soup. We used to bring in flatbread, and people used to sit around and eat. And that doesn't happen anymore?
No way. Now only you're allowed to bring sealed up chocolate or chips or something and a fizzy drink bottle.
Unhealthy.
That's the only things you're allowed to drink anymore.
Fizzy drink?
Fizzy drink, like a Coca-Cola or lemonade.
Oh, my God.
Just a plastic bottle, not cans.
That's a heart attack in a bottle, that one.
Yeah, so like used to be back in the days, my mom cooked me food from home and bring me and I eat with her. Yeah. And when I used to be back in Perth, and they cancel all that. They cancel it. What for? It's like, what harm to you? I'm eating a good food.
Yeah.
It's like I told them last time in here. I said, you're not giving us enough food. You make us suffering. You make us starving. You make us hungry, and you don't want us, even our family, send us food or money to buy stuff. What do we do? What do you want us to do? I just want to know what we have done to get treated like that. And people here, believe it or not, every person in here, there is a little bit people not being in jail, just being outside, a little bit being in jail. The people being in jail said, this is worse than jail, and I wish I go away with my visa in jail.
Well, actually, you serve your time in jail, and it ends. Now,
Yeah.
Ali, time's starting to run out. Are there any final comments that you wanted to make? And we can certainly have you on again next time.
Thank you very much. I much appreciate it. And thank you for Peter for actually always call me and update with me and talk to me. And he's a really great friend like
That's
you.
all right.
And you've got a really nice heart to actually look after people who need the help. And we're just seeking justice, seeking mercy against people and against humanity.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ali. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Soon.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Peter. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was Ali, refugee from Iraq, speaking about his experiences in Mita and having a look at some of the atrocious conditions in there. And also, just as a final comment before we move on to some music, that he was speaking about the light being on in the cell. That is actually a form of torture to engineer sleep deprivation in the cells. They're not bedrooms, they're cells. It's approximately 4:48, and you're back with the Doing Time show, and it's 4:53. We're nearing the end of our show. Thank you very much to Ali for coming onto the show, and also to Anthony Kelly as well. Before we do conclude the show, I just wanted to quickly talk about the sacred trees that hopefully are not going to be destroyed, but are potentially will be destroyed in Victoria. And these are Aboriginal trees. The proposed Western Highway extension will destroy high cultural and natural values, including trees that have been culturally modified by Djab Wurrung traditional owners for up to 800 years. And sorry, what I meant was that these trees are very significant to Aboriginal people. I mean, all the land is Aboriginal basically, but over 70 elders, traditional owners and their supporters have been meeting on country over the months to reaffirm their commitment to protect the 800-year-old sacred trees standing in the path of the Andrew government's Western Highway extension between Beaufort and Ararat in Victoria's west. And the embassy that's been created is hoping to prevent bulldozers moving in to destroy the trees. And it's been in place now for over 10 months, that embassy. So a little bit of an update there that I have spoken to a couple of the people there that at the camp, and I've been informed actually that the trees are not protected under state legislation. There's actually been a series of court cases, and now hopefully it will be protected under federal law. The injunction, I think, runs out on Wednesday, so I'm hoping that the campers the traditional owners will not be evicted. There's been a camp there for many months, and just a call out to listeners that if they can go down there to the camp to support. And there's also an Aboriginal leader. What's his name, Peter?
Sorry? Oh.
There's an Aboriginal leader that was actually put in prison who was on the front lines of the camp. DT, that's it. And he's actually in the Melbourne Assessment Centre for really minor offences. So they're actually trying to take away the people that are giving a voice to this campaign. So just wanted to give a quick update and just to encourage people to go on Facebook, have a look at what is happening with the embassy, see if they can go down on Wednesday in case the police do move in to forcibly remove them, the elders. And so we're hoping that the trees are not destroyed and that other alternatives can be found for this highway. It's approximately 4:56. We've got about 1 minute before we're out of here. And, yeah, Beyond Zero is coming up next. And tune in every Monday from 4 till 5 for the Doing Time show. And just a shout-out to everybody inside. And just to say, for inside and outside, let's take care of each other. Let's help each other. You know, we all need to take care of one another. So we're going to be going out pretty soon with our theme song, Black Fella, White Fella, by the Rumpy Band. And don't forget to watch Four Corners tonight. They're going to be
8:30.
8:30. There's a special on youth incarceration and how they're putting young people into adult prisons. And we're hoping to bring you some interviews about that in the coming weeks. So it's goodbye from Marisa.
And Peter.
And we'll see you next Monday for the Doing Time show, 4 till 5.
See you.
See ya.